The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
And welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast. I'm Mandra.
I'm Debbie.
And I'm Shelly. Our mission here is to inspire, empower, and to help people be well. We're going to start off today talking about how we all got together to form our writers group.
Well, I'd like to make it sound more professional, but the truth is I met Shelly through a mutual friend, and I just pretty much fell in love with her, and I wanted to be her friend. So when she said she wanted to write a book, I thought, well, I guess I'll start a writers group.
That's exactly how it went down.
And now we have it on video, on tape, that from you are guaranteeing a promise to be my best friend for life?
Yes, signed in blood.
Oh, yes.
Shelley is pretty magical. So we all got together to work on our memoirs. And Debbie's sort of the one in the group that legitimizes us because she actually has been published.
Yay.
Whereas, yes. Shelly and I are just the yahoos that are hoping to turn our journals and chicken scratch into several books.
I think we're at number 10. I think she's planning on 10.
I'm on 20,
oh,
actually. Yes. Sorry. Yes, I've envisioned 20 across my mantle. So Shelly's also the one that kind of brings a little sparkle and magic to the group. She's the great manifester.
Yes.
Who says, I want to live by the lake, and 2 weeks later she has a lake house.
Yes, she says things that most people that are traumatizing. I'm going to put my house on the market. When you have to destage it, and when Jonathan and I put our house on the market, it took us 2 years to sell it. And Shelly just comes in and says, we meet for coffee, and said, well, I was on the massage table today. I don't know why my voice changes, but I was on the massage table today, and I just decided I don't want to live at the ocean anymore. I'm going to put my house on the market, and I want to live on a lake. And I thought, well, don't we all?
Isn't that what people do?
Well, no, people say that, but I've never met anyone. And so then the next time we met for coffee, which was about a week later, she was already, she brought all the new houses that she was looking at. Yeah. And one in particular had a little stone cottage. Oh. It was separate from the house. Was that one on a river?
It was.
It was on a river.
It was.
A little stone cottage with a huge fireplace. And I thought, well, I'm moving in there.
Yeah.
She won't notice.
It was going to be the writer's cottage.
Yeah.
I had picked out the rug. My husband wouldn't let me buy it. We hadn't bought the house yet. We didn't buy the house.
But you like to do things backwards. You must know that by now.
Yes. It's the cart before the horse, or the chicken or the egg. It doesn't matter. She showed up to writers group one day with her book cover done nicely and the advanced praise done on the back.
Yes. We all had to write ours.
Yes. And now all Shelly really needs is the couple hundred pages in between.
Just the middle. That's not her book.
Yeah, this isn't my book.
It's just the cover.
Listen, there is the front cover, as well as the rear cover, as well as the introduction. Right. And there's actually a chapters page, too. Just not the 300 pages in the middle.
Just not the chapters.
But she will manifest it shortly, I'm sure.
So probably
that's what she does. Probably. She'll have her series of 10 before I finish my one. No, I think when I get off on a roll like that, that's when you kick in there, Miss Mandra.
Right.
That's when you are the prescription pad. Yeah. Let's get back to business here.
She keeps it real.
She keeps it real.
Yeah.
She keeps it real.
That's what Mandra does.
She clips our wings just a touch in safety only. In safety only.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts so good. I will have said, because we meet, we should probably tell them how we do our thing, but we meet every 2 weeks. At first we met at my house because it was kind of a central location. There were 5 of us. And
there's been some attrition. We lost a couple along the way.
They kind of fell off the radar, but we stayed strong. So we started meeting at this little restaurant called The Kitchen in the Wyndham Junction in Wyndham, New Hampshire. And we kind of go into the back room and we send pages ahead of time.
Right.
And there'll be times when, I will be honest, I will write on a sticky, this is the week they're going to tell me I'm so good that it made them cry. And I will be feeling so good, and I'll keep that sticky tucked in the back of the thing. So when they say it, one of these days I'm going to be able to pull it out. And Mandra will say to me, Deb, I know you I know you think you poured your heart and soul onto the pages, and I think here it's coming. She's about to tell me I finally did it, and she'll say, yeah, no, you need to go deeper.
deeper. That's when she rips your stitches right open. That's when I sometimes get the middle finger.
Yes.
Often get
sometimes some words too that we can't say. I don't think.
Right, not on here.
But when I give Mandra the middle finger, because that's not something I generally do. I'm not a middle finger.
You wouldn't know it.
I'm not a middle finger person ever. But when Mandra does it, what it really means is blank you, but blank means thank you in a very, very painful. I know this is going to be good in the long run, but cleansing the wound type thing. So Mandra keeps us real.
I'm glad I can do that for you, Debbie.
For all of us.
For all of us.
Yeah.
And I think what the group has sort of already done for us, because we've been meeting, about a year and a half now?
A little over.
And we would be nowhere near through our projects if we didn't have the motivation of each other. I think we really feel energized after we meet. I think we know we have a deadline to send those pages ahead. Correct. And we're hoping that we can kind of open this up and connect with other writers that could use a group or could use some editing or could just use some energy and some motivation.
Support.
Right.
And some understanding.
Everyone's lives are busy, and we've committed to that every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But all three of us decided we needed a little bit more as well.
Right.
And if you remember correctly, Deb, you thought this was a stupid idea.
No, I think it was my idea. Wasn't it my idea?
I think no.
Right.
I think no.
I think it was my idea.
It was.
We decided to Skype every other week,
right?
Well, because we
to
would
keep
leave.
us connected. Yeah.
And after the 2 weeks, after our meeting, we would leave feeling so good, and after a few days, it would wear off.
Correct.
And so then it would take 2 weeks before we came crawling back to the group, kind of desperate for that fix of energy again. And so somebody suggested that we
Skype in between.
First we said call. You said do a phone call.
Yeah.
I think, Mandra, I think you said do a phone call.
Yes,
I said I'm a visual. I need to see you.
Yeah,
So
right.
I need to figure out how to Skype, which that was an episode in itself on trying to get Skype onto our phones. Might show our ages just a touch and getting technically challenged. And then we finally get it. Where's your face? Where's your face? I don't see your face. We got it down.
Yeah. But I did. I thought it was the dumbest idea. I thought, well, call each other every other week? That's dumb. And then I thought, and see each other when we first get out of bed in my pajamas? That's even dumber.
You're still in your pajamas when we meet at the kitchen.
Well, that's true.
So what difference does that make?
That's because we meet so early, but...
And I think just some of the other sort of unspoken agreements that we made that would help others that are either in a writer's group or, are thinking of starting one is we give very honest feedback. Hence why I sometimes get middle thank you finger.
Thank you.
Because we didn't know each other really before this. So you have to be able to accept honest feedback and give honest feedback without getting feelings hurt. And know that in the end, whatever edits are made on your pages is up to the writer, to take them or not take them. But I think it's done wonders for all of our writing, and we've come a long way having this group and meeting regularly.
Well, yes. I'm on my 20th book.
Yeah?
Yes, Shelly. Yes, you are.
You have 20 covers.
I think she has one cover, but next week we'll probably have 20.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, see, that's how fast she works. So do we want to sort of move into what our projects are and let people know what we're each working on?
Sure.
Okay.
You want to go first?
I'd love to go first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Throw you the ball.
All right. So my memoir is called Just Another Love Story, and it's the story of my husband's heart transplant. So, nothing too heavy.
Just a little light,
Little
beach read.
Little switching of hearts.
He's going to think it's really weird when I finally meet him face to face and hug him for a long, long time.
Yes. But he will love it.
Okay. Yeah, it's Brad.
He won't push you
He
away.
won't think it's weird.
Okay.
And sort of all the events that led up to that, what happened during, and then after. Certainly talks about family dynamics and relationships and how those change when there is someone who is seriously ill in the family. And it's also a bit of a survivor's guide on how to navigate the hospital and medical world, because we had to do it for a very long time.
We learned there are so many things in your book that I just wouldn't have even known. Even just thinking going forward, even though I may have to face something not quite so serious, some of the ways that you handled it and some of your techniques of dealing with things were just amazing, and I wouldn't have even thought of them.
Right.
So I think it'll be a great survivor's guide. And the title, you didn't say your title, which I absolutely adore.
I did, but I'll say it again. You did? Yes, because someday it'll be on a bookshelf, hopefully. Just Another Love Story.
That's such a great title.
And it needs to be written whether it's a bestseller or not, although I'm going to pull a little Shelly and say it will be.
Absolutely.
Because I have a son now who wasn't around during all of that. And so part of the motivation for writing is so that he knows that part of his parents' life. And that's part of his history.
I feel I can hear book 2 coming.
Oh, what would the title of that be?
Slow down.
Yes. We have to keep some things a mystery.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then sort of where I am in the process was I had a bunch of journal entries. I had written some, but through Writers Group and Skype, I've flushed sort of most of it out, and I'm working on the end. But there'll still be an editing process and a marketing process and a publishing process, and hopefully that's part of what we can talk about in our podcast.
Right.
Because other people might be kind of researching different avenues for all those things as well. How do you publish and how do you edit? And
that we can kind of pull the curtain back on how do you actually get a book out there.
Right.
So, I mean, we're all in different stages, but we're going to be learning together as we go. And some of us will make one decision and some will make another. Do we go agent, not agent, traditional publishing, indie publishing?
Correct. There's a lot of options out there that we've been confused with a little bit. So we hope to,
well, and the whole
help
publishing
people find their path.
Industry has changed so much in the last 10 years. It used to be that there were 5 or 6 big publishing houses. You had to submit to them and you either got accepted or rejected, and that was that. There weren't any other options. Now there are so many more options, and in some ways it's just become, a little bit get lost in the forest. So we can do that. We can, as we are working our way through the forest, we can hopefully help our listeners who are interested in.
Correct.
And this isn't just about writing. It's about following your dream and living your passion and having the courage to pursue whatever it is that excites you.
Right.
So we're hoping that whatever you want to do, you'll feel the energy from us.
And where are you at, Deb?
Yes, Deb.
Well, let's see. When we got together, I'm a fiction writer, and but I did have a memoir that I had started writing many years before that had been put in a drawer for probably 10 years. But when Shelly said she wanted to write a memoir, I thought, okay, I'll have to pull that memoir out, and I'll have to find other memoirists so we can all be working on the same type of thing. So my book started as the first title was Dance Lessons for Life, How Ballroom Dance has Helped Me Live a Better Life. Then it morphed into Rise and Fall of a Ballroom Dancer. And I had 2/3 done. That had been put away. So I pulled it out. And within this group, I finished it. 321 pages. I sent it to my editor. He sent it back, and when I got his 3-page memo, I thought, well, that's that. I'm never publishing this book, because he said, if you're going to hint at some of these things, you have to talk more about them, things that I did not want to talk about. So I put it away. So then I went back to working on my fiction novel, Well-Behaved Woman Coming Undone, which is been to the editor, come back, and it's with him again. I actually, ladies, have the tracking number, so officially it's actually coming back to me. So I'll talk more about that one later.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And Deb, will we see you in some sort of costume and video on your Facebook page?
You could probably find a few.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Great. Shelly?
So you have 2 books, actually. You actually have the middle of all of those 2 books. Like, you don't just have the cover.
No, no, fortunately.
And the story.
But I've been doing this longer than you, so I have that book, and then I'm about halfway through rewriting the memoir, which is now. Oh, you ladies don't even know, so I'm not even going to tell you the title. That's to come in weeks to come.
Oh, you changed the title?
Well, why not?
I'm interested.
Yes.
Right?
I'm intrigued.
I think you're going to really, all this time you've been trying to help me find that string to kind of pull through the middle, and I think I finally found it. But one of the things that I have kind of introduced you to the concept of is don't talk about your writing. Don't tell me how fabulous your book is. Because if you tell me about your book, I'm going to have a picture in my head. And so then when I get your book, so that's one of our rules is we can kind of talk about ideas and helping each other with going where we're going. But we can't tell the whole story because there's, with inflection and with your face and being right here, you telling me your love story is not the same thing as me reading it.
Correct.
And so we want to go to the pages fresh.
Right.
That's been a learning experience.
Yes, because Shelly wants to tell it.
Yes.
If she could tell the story, the 10 books would be done.
Yes. So I am interviewing the actual thread. That thread that is going to tie all of my stories together. My series that I decided was going to be a memoir with a twist of fiction.
I see a martini glass.
Oh. We'll
in your chair.
That. In my chair, yes. Because it's going to be called As the Chair Turns.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Because
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. How many ever books there is going to be. As the Chair Turns, because as a hairdresser for over 30 years, / bartender, / hairdresser, / therapist, there's a lot of stories that have come out of that chair.
That's right.
That magic cape goes on to those clients, and there's things they tell me that I actually don't want to know, but it's going to make some really good material in my book.
Are you going to change the names?
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. We talked about As the Chair Turns. We talked about Under the Chair, Before the Chair, Around the Chair on stage, the chair on set. There are a few different chairs. So we'll see how that goes. But interviewing, I'm in the process now of trying to get those pages that I have written. They're just not sewn together for the inside of the books.
Yes, you have
we
a
like
lot
to
of
call them
pages.
bullet points.
Bullet points?
Shelly has some nice bullet
Yes,
points.
I'm a fan of the run-on sentence and the ...
Yes.
What is that professional word for ...
The ellipse.
Ellipses.
Yeah, that
Thank
word.
you.
I love ellipses.
I'm so excited that it's an actual word because I invented it. I just
also
use
got
more
you
than
to-
3 dots.
We did get you to capitalize some things once in a while.
My computer doesn't like to
That was
capitalize
huge.
just I. So they're all lowercase.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's her style. That's what separates her from the rest of us.
But I'm in the process now of interviewing editors that are developmental editors, one out of California and one out of North Carolina.
Which do what?
Which
Some of our-
developmental editing
learning
is
about this.
is a thread that can sew those stories together, because I'm not sure how to put the hook of a story in. I read these books and I'm blindsided, and I want to go from, I want my readers to go from laughing to crying to smiling, all within a chapter, So, and I don't know how to sew that ride together. So, a lot of run-on sentences, a lot of paragraphs with ... and hopefully these developmental editors will have my voice and be able to sew this entire thing together.
Great.
And, the cart before the horse, because I always do that. I also did just send an email to a woman that I want to audio narrate my book.
Of course you did.
Deb clarifies the book I haven't written, which isn't exactly true.
Yeah. I'm the first one. You have a pile.
I have a pile. I have a stack of papers.
Right, that you have written on. And
Yes.
all the ideas are there. It really is
It is
kind of
not grammatically correct.
that can be done. Anybody can do that.
I think it doesn't need to be.
Right.
Is writing your memoirs for the three of you a form of therapy?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, we're supposed to admit that out loud?
Well, is that...
Yes, let's rip the stitches off Deb right now. Yes, it is.
Well,
Middle
Deb,
finger
you,
to our producer extraordinaire.
you alluded to the fact that there are certain parts of your book that you absolutely don't want to write about, and there must be a reason for that.
Oh, sure. There's some heartfelt, gut-wrenching life stuff that's in all of our books.
Right. So I guess is the question, is it therapeutic? God, yes. All right. You want to hear the couple of lines I wrote last night?
Yes.
Family is forever, is a promise, a threat, and a truth. Oh, I wrote that and I felt complete. I mean, I don't know how many words that is, 10 words. And I thought, well, that's enough writing for today. And I got up from my desk.
I am done. My work here is done. Mandra will love it. It is very good.
Wait, Mandra better love it. Yes. Cue Mandra. Mandra, here's your line. Oh, I love this. Yeah. So,
And I think in response to our producer extraordinaire's question, I think for me, what the group said was, I was all facts. I was, this happened. It was data. And I had to go back in and do the hard work of, well, how did I feel there? Well, how did I feel there? Well, what was that relationship like? Well, how did it change? And So, like, I know my story. I chronologically know what happened, but to actually make it real and something that other people can connect with and want to read was a lot of soul searching and a lot of, how did I feel then? Because that wasn't necessarily always in the journals. It was very, this doctor came in, this happened. So it's been a lot of work on sort of the emotional side to get my book where it is.
Yeah, that's why it takes so long. I think that's why it's so much harder, because it isn't just a matter of, I went to the store and bought milk this morning, and then I did XYZ.
Right.
Book is done.
Right.
Oprah's calling. Ding ding. You have to. There was one pit lace that you wrote about the. It was a quicksand pit, and how you were feeling you were being pulled in, and so even though. And that's one thing I've learned about making your story universal is the more personal that you are, the more universal it becomes, which to me sounds opposite of what I would think. Mm-hmm. I would think,
kind of counterintuitive.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you wrote that, how you were feeling, I remember thinking, I can relate to this with my brother who has a drinking problem. Of all the times I was trying to save him, but feeling like I was being pulled into the quicksand pit with him. So when I read your book, when you get into that deep personal stuff is when it really resounds and makes my heart sing too.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just about a heart transplant. It could be any kind of medical crisis that anybody's ever had in their life to connect to. And each of our books has that.
Right. Those universal themes, I think are what's going to make the books want to be read, make the readers really connect.
Is it cathartic for you? I wonder if that's what's missing. Imagine if Jonathan just found that string for you.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think there are pieces of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was that one story that I wrote, 2 pages about attending a funeral, and you guys told me I needed to turn it into 10.
Right.
And I turned it into 10, and then both of you sat there the following week with this kind of blank stare, and our Keep It Real girl says, "So, how are you feeling?" I was like, "Yeah, I took the lid off that coffee can." Yep. Tough, but it was such a better story to just get to the bottom.
Yeah, there's been a lot of personal growth over the past year and a half.
Yes,
unintended thing.
Well, it sounds like all three of you have a very similar process in that you start off with the facts, and I'm speaking only about the memoirs. You start off with the facts, and then you kind of dive into the heart part of things, and you get the feelings. But sometimes the feelings, some of that stuff may just be you, and now you've got to make that book proficient for the reader and trim the fat off and kind of lean it out a bit so that it hits a more broad spectrum of people.
Wow, when he says it, it sounds so good. Are we really doing all that? I thought we were just.
We are.
I thought we were meeting and drinking coffee.
I think we do it over eggs and coffee, but I think that's what we do.
Huh. I wonder why we've never thought of hiring him as an editor. I wonder. Hey, Mr.
Not a chance.
Have you read my first book?
No.
About a dancer who marries a younger man?
You might want to read
it. People don't have to know that we're married.
But I think that's also what we're hoping the writer's block does, right? That everybody has a story to tell, and that we can somehow support that journey of writing it and editing, and maybe from time to time we'll get some people to send some pages our way, and we can do some editing right here.
Right, absolutely. Because we can offer to people who aren't in our group, they can get the feeling of being with us.
Well, it seems like the stars line up when we're together anyways, because it's happened when we've been at the kitchen, and we've had that housewife raising her children woman pop up to our table, and she was so afraid, and she said, "I just needed to tell you how awesome you all are. The energy exuding from this table is amazing."
And she wanted to say that
she write a book.
That she writes at home at her computer alone, like when the kids are in bed. And
writing is such a solitary experience. Yeah. You have to do it by yourself. No one else can help you. I mean, the actual writing part.
Sure.
And so you need that support.
Right.
So what are we talking about next week, ladies?
Well, we are one little piece that you can expect from each of us is at the end of each show, we are going to do on the writer's block, we have Mandra's Wellness Corner, Deb's Life Pondering Square, and Shelly's Inspiration Alley. So each week you can tune in to get a little glimpse of where each of us is in the process.
Right. So at Mandra's Wellness Corner, we're going to talk about ways to practice sort of staying centered and present in your life. We're going to talk about healthy, clean eating tips, maybe a little yoga, and just overall how to be well.
And at Deb's Life Pondering Square, we are going to talk about using art to express your feelings. How if you can touch it, sometimes you don't have to really feel it. You can express it without having to talk about it or justify it or explain it in some form of art.
We call that art therapy.
Did you get paid for that, Deb?
Oh, yay, Deb's getting paid. Send the checks too.
And on Inspiration Alley, we are, I'm just going to bring to the table a bunch of shout outs to everything from tattoo artists to jewelry designers and fashion from head to toe in this inspiration world.
Yep. Because if you could see Shelly right now, she's got some bling going on.
Lots of sparkle, always has
lots of
bling.
Blue. Yep.
Yes.
Lots of color.
Hopefully leave you feeling inspired, empowered, and being well.
Cheers to the writer's block.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.